Hello everybody, welcome to the stream. Just about to get started with the grand finals of, can't believe it already, Season 13, Apex Arena Season 13 for Global. And it's the grand finals already, which means probably only 1 or 2 weeks before I get to start playing again. And I guess everyone who's not Keeu and UpAppa. Welcome to the chat, Rice Crew. Welcome to the chat, Cucumber. Avarita. Good to see you all. Did you all get your bets in? Absol, welcome to the chat. Did everyone get their bets in? Let's uncover the screen here and just dive right into the Apex match screen so we can take a look. So we have UpAppa. Noob Smog, thanks for the sub, by the way. Absol as well, thanks for the sub too, Absol. Nice, Absol jumping in there, really sniping Noob Smog with that sub. Getting his name on the subscriber list. Don't worry, Noob Smog, you were on there for like 0.14 seconds. Vermilion, you're on time this time. Well, we're almost ready to go. About a minute left. UpAppa, returning champion. He is the Season 12 champ overall. Defeated Auto Run. And yes, I see more votes coming in just as we're just about to start. There's like 50 seconds left to bet. So just over 3,500 people now voted for UpAppa. And almost 3,400 people have voted for Keeu. So very, very even betting. Very even betting in the finals this time. Freed still trusts in Keeu. Absol in PayPal we trust. You know what? I trust PayPal insofar as its donations to good old Kong's stream. I'm still paying down some credit card debt for some of the upgrades I made to this setup. But that's okay. That's what fun is for. Vermilion. Yes, I saw your explanation. Hopefully that helps some people who are watching that replay back and don't really get why everyone freaked out when that happened. Noob Smog with 5 bets on Appa. I put my bets on Keeu just because he had the slight edge and I liked his play yesterday. So, the game has just started. We'll just jump in, give them about a minute to join. We still have some time to discuss. I am babysitting a wily Whippet, one of Applesauce's best friends. And we kind of got to keep them separated a lot of the time if they're not being watched because they play too much. Like they're both still puppies. So they go absolutely bananas. So suffice it to say there's a Whippet chewing on stuff down here. Hype Train? What's this? What's all this Hype Train business? Hype Train level 1. Sub-gift or use bits to get to the next level. Hey, if y'all want to continue this Hype Train on, you know what to do. Rice Crew, I see, you're to blame for this. Hopping on the Hype Train with Absol and Noob Smog there. Thanks for the sub, by the way. I will say it's not the end of the world if you don't get your bets in at the last second like Rice Crew did, because you can just keep your tickets until next season. They carry over. They'll still be good then. And the betting odds in the earlier rounds are actually usually a bit better because you can get some real big spreads and bet on some underdogs. Make a lot of money. Go back to your little bed, small dog. What's wrong with you? Why are you so small? Alright, so there we have it. Both players have joined. I'm very unsurprised by that in the finals. And Keeu is going to be player 1. We're playing on the Broken Cliffs. Okay, very interesting map. UpAppa banning out the AO. Yeah, Appa is not running Rosenseal at all. Keeu looks like he's running a very similar box, to what we saw in action yesterday. He does have Polyol in here. He has... who else did he bring up? Oh, he has Archon in right away. Archon was a side box last time. Up Appa with another pretty traditional-looking box, other than he does have Kagura. He does have Elaine, so pretty highly mobile, strongly DPS-focused box. And with his Grenshiel band, he's going to go with first pick Z2 here. So that's his other tank bust attempting unit. All right. I know pick and ban is like the most hype thing that happens during these finals. Let's keep this hype train going. We've got about 2 minutes left for another sub or gift or bits. Actually, I think there's only one person who's ever used bits on my channel, so Gold Magistrate is currently the #1 bits user with 5 bits. Pretty hilarious. Oh man, Rice Crew knows how to keep the hype train going in style. 5 gifted subs. Thank you so much, Rice Crew, and congratulations to Straw, Venorion, Trevor Selbin, the Jabes, and Freed. Oh man, Freed's even here to get the sub. Nice. Way to go, Rice Crew. Definitely keeping the squad alive big time. So Keeu so far is playing a style that we saw him play all 3 games yesterday. Going with the Rosenseal, or healer first, and then getting Landius as well. The gifted subs are hilarious because they just keep the notifications coming. Alright, this is a good map for Lostom, and we're going to see Lostom on both sides here. Keeu, we got to see Keu's Lostom in action a lot yesterday as well, and we saw him come really close with a couple kills, and then eventually succeed on a clutch kill in, was it game 2? That's what forced to game 3. But Apapa has his own Lostom in the mix here, and it looks like he's going to be playing mostly DPS, so he will have a little bit more of a trade advantage in that kind of situation. It'll also be interesting to see what kind of units he ends up fielding, like who Keu's Lostom is going to have for prime targets. This is kind of suspicious, actually. Oh, there she is. I was like, I know there's a small dog somewhere in this room with me, but I can't currently locate her. Okay, D-Heart as well. One of Keu's Lostom victims from yesterday, actually. One of the things that I was alluding to blowing money on for my setup, I did get a little bit, some better streaming equipment. Like, I got a better capture card than the one I used to have. So, before, remember, back in the good old days when I would be streaming, like, Ancient Beckoning runs on my PC, sometimes it would crash in the middle of the run, which was super annoying. So, now that I'm using my laptop to record all my videos, I wasn't really able to stream stuff on my laptop. So I got a better capture card, and I'll be able to start streaming, like, actual console games for a change. And part of that is I need to get like a soundboard set up so I can, you know, have a little choo-choo Righteous Freed voice sound effect for when a hype train like this starts. I'll just get Freed in. All the good meme sounds, I'll get Freed in to record his own singing versions of them, and he'll be my soundboard. Entirely Freed sound effects. Alright, so the Grenshiel here is 4th pick for Keeu. Just another good solid DPS, but also a Strategic Masters faction buff for Lostum. Archon is also Strategic Masters, I believe. And D-Heart, also another good 5th pick, so either way, Keu's going to have a good 5th DPS unit. And either way, Up Appa is going to have a really interesting 5th unit. I would love to see either Joa and Connie or Elaine in action, so whoever Up Appa manages to pick here, I'm going to be pretty happy about it. Speaking of other games, how's the Ys one doing? I stopped playing Ys very early in its life. I found it quite uninteresting, to be honest. Not only that, but it also just had a lot of like weird problems, like matchmaking and stuff. I think I might have discussed it in my last video on it, the kind of like different things that I found disappointing about it. How did you get way over there? Every time I turn around and look to see where this dog is, it's like standing on a shelf. It's in weird different places. Okay, you're gonna have to settle down if we're gonna co-stream this together. Do you want to come up here? There. Now, don't say anything embarrassing. Hype train success! You've received a level 2 hype train emote. Sorry. Just dealing with my first hype train here whilst trying to carry a small dog around. Alright, so Joa and Connie, good. So, one thing I liked about yesterday's games, too, is that we got to see in Game 1, Auto Run put Joa and Connie to good use. And it was very interesting to see, as someone who got Joa and Connie but has never built or used them. Just the ability to kind of push out front a little bit, and have that nice threat range to be able to assassinate someone. Living the dream. And finally we begin. So let's see what we got here. Couple air slashes. No need to run Grenchiel as a tank this time because we have an actual real tank in Landius. So nothing too surprising on Keu's side. I don't expect to see anything surprising on Up Appa's side either. He brought the Dark Elf snipers on Lostum, which is a way of trying to get rid of Grenchiel. So he may have Slayer's Emblem as well. D-Heart here is a faction buffing D-Heart, so that's to provide an additional buff for Lostum. Oh, Eternal Youth, trust me, you're not the only person who loses all their bets. So if you're planning on cursing Keu by betting on him, we'll have to consult with all the other people with cursed betting histories. Yeah, it sounds like the betting in the chat is very similar to what we saw before the match started with the 50-50 split betting. Gold Magistrate, betting everything on 7th Heaven. Freed, everything on Keu. Go to your bed. ATN, everything on Up Appa. Kong, everything on Keu. If you want to start winning, bet contrary to what your instincts tell you. Good, that's a good place for dogs. Alright, Joa already getting into position, throwing up his little invulnerability bubble. Or invisibility bubble. Get the accelerated aid on Lostom. He's already got his faction buff. So Lostom is ready to go. Up is setting something up for... at least to threaten something this turn. We'll see. Now's the time. Is he going to go with his Lostom right now? Keu's Lostom is sitting on a forest. He does have Sand Seas. It could be a real tricky kill. I mean, especially with these Dark Elves. The Dark Elves aren't there for Lostom. They're there for Grunchiel. Biscuits from KFC? I didn't even know KFC did biscuits. Unless they just started doing them to compete with like Popeyes and all those other biscuit chicken places. Or they just don't do them in Canada. Not like I'm a fast food chicken connoisseur or anything. Apapa here, potentially consulting with Keu to see whether they want to have this Lostom kill anything on Keu's side yet. Just kidding, I'm just memeing on... Before Keu contacts me again, I'm just memeing on everyone joking around in main court about yesterday's win being purchased, so to speak. Poutine. Freed, don't pretend in the chat like you don't know what poutine is. And if you don't, just Google it, man. Delicious, delicious Canadian food. Oh no, he didn't like reach out to me or anything like that, ATN, but we are in the strategy squad chat together. As you can see, around Keu's avatar is a little strategist brain. When I was joking like 2 rounds ago about... I forget what game it was even. It was like Keu's pilot playing against whoever's pilot. Apparently everyone in main court, when I posted that, started like sending him DMs and asking who his pilot was and stuff, and I was like... People forgot how to joke in this day and age. Alright, Appa is going to hug the fog for now until he has an opening. But Keu's Landius is moving up to the front. That'll give him a chance to move up a little bit. He feels fairly comfortable moving up, although, I mean, D-Hard here has potential to assassinate elements of Keu's team as well. Or does he? No, he doesn't even have his 3C. So he would have to do it with Calamity. Vermilion, I would say that piloting was probably a thing in the first season. I didn't play the first couple seasons of Apex. I'm a day 1 player, but I didn't get into the PvP scene until a couple seasons later, just because it wasn't really my jam. Alright, Connie back here, still staying back, trying to keep people topped up with their accelerated aid. Piloting is a kind of funny, like, semi-controversy because, like, on the one hand, a lot of people do it, and a lot of people openly do it, and a lot of people complain about it. that a lot of people don't. I don't know. I remember a couple seasons ago there was a couple strategy squad people who were getting super salty that players were being piloted and tried to like expose it as this big like negative thing. I don't know, where do you guys stand in the chat about accounts getting piloted? Let's keep it to like high-level Apex. Do you think it's like a big problem, or do you think it's basically just like understood that it's gonna happen? Magistrate, I bet there are people who would do World Arena piloting. There are some people who are really good at it, but it's one of those modes that like you really need to have like a certain stuff built for it, and then just like abuse that stuff up the ranks. Oh, that's a good point. James Fee on YouTube saying as long as it isn't AI and it's just another human pilot, it doesn't bother him. Yeah, we're not playing for money. It's not like it's a tournament, like a live esports tournament that, you know, a team is entering into and then hiring other people to play. Yeah, it's a dead mobile gacha game. Absol with another interesting point in the chat. Nothing wrong with getting piloted, just don't like people who pretend they play while being piloted. Yeah, I guess that's just like a clout thing, like they don't want people to know that they're not the one playing. I was saying it would be funny for me to like joke about myself getting piloted too, but no one would really believe it because I just suck and always lose in the first round every season anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Yeah, Luxid, piloting seems to be generally accepted in global. I think there's a few people probably who aren't really like high up in the competitive ranks who take issue with like it in principle or whatever, even though it doesn't affect them. Alright, so D-Heart moved up here and also caught a real breeze, not just an accelerated one. But like we said, the only thing he has to assassinate with, he does have Strike and Calamity. Okay, Zerida's gonna go into start though. Oh, and Zerida not quite able to take that first life off Lando. But what he's looking here, at least, if he can't get the kill, he's going to force a heal action. Or if he doesn't force a heal action, you know, and it's just inevitable that this Lando is going to die, Keeu can use one of his units to, I guess, take the first life off the Zerida. That's not exactly super high value because she can just get it back. Actually, she wouldn't get it back because when he revives... Yeah, when he revives, he wouldn't drop a Zera Ball, so she wouldn't get it back. So this is fine. Just tag team Zerida here. Oh, she's stunned anyway. I was gonna say, like, she could follow up, but she can't shut down his revive anyway, so I think her job is done, unfortunately, for Up Appa. Gold Magistrate. Gonna lose all your money. First unit hasn't even died on either side yet, and you're already calling the game, Magistrate? There's a lot of game left. There's a lot of game left. Even without the stun, the Zerida was kind of fried. Like, she could have run away. Yeah, Appa Appa is really considering what the next move is going to be in the wake of this Zerida stun. That said, like, if Zerida was meant to be your follow-up move there, and that was literally the only thing you've thought about, and you need to use the rest of all your backup time to figure out your next move. Okay, so Calamity probably not going to really worry Lost him sitting on the forest. And since Rosenseal's in action here, Up Appa's D-Heart is not going to stun anyone, so Keeu does not need to worry about getting stunned at all here. So Up Appa's D-Heart comes in, and that's a trade of 1 full D-Heart for 1 skill off Lost him. Lost him back up to 100%. Actually, 2 skills. Pretty bad trade. Up Appa still with some weapons remaining. I mean, at least this Gintoki is buffed up now. But so far, Up Appa hasn't managed to make any inroads. Landius' first life is up. Lost him unscathed. Gin really just trying to move up and get some purchase. The AoE, not enough to take off Landius' first life. I'm more intrigued to see what Up Appa is going to do with the rest of this game in terms of figuring stuff out. Alright, so here comes the Joa and Connie 3C. It's going to splash some damage around, but unfortunately it was a little too late. After Landius getting healed up there, if that had happened before Gintoki moved up and attempted that AoE, then maybe? Hey Najin, we may not have to imagine SP Landius for too much longer. Alright, let's see if this Lost him is going to actually do anything here. Goes for the D-Heart, does get the kill on the D-Heart. And now back to the Tree Heart. Don't worry, Magistrate, SP Aaron is very far down on the list. Isn't Landius next in line for SP, or one of near SP plans? We don't know that yet, Avarita. There was a rumor, like a pretend leak about SP Landius. But in terms of like making predictions, I'd say he's a pretty safe bet just because like he's the only main series protagonist who doesn't have an SP form yet, and the game that he is the protagonist from, Langrisser 4, doesn't have any SP characters from that game yet. So that does kind of make it look like he's like a prime candidate for it, you know what I mean? Okay, so Gin does take that first life off Landius. And Gin is in deep, but the thing is he's surrounded by scary units, and he's just a Gin. He has no healer. He has no... I mean, I guess he has a Joa who can sacrifice himself. Ugh. That's a toasted Gin. Up Appa really just acting quickly now because the backup time is almost gone. Okay, so that is, I mean, Keu's tank is down. He still has 2 good DPS, one of them shielded, and a Rosen Seal, but it looks like Gintoki's in serious danger here, so that will leave Up Appa with basically Joa and Connie to carry the rest of the match. That said, Joa and Connie and Lost him with snipers both have the tools needed to take down that Gren Shield, so let's see how this goes. Yep, Gren Shield correctly identifying one of her threats, taking out the Connie. And Connie's death, unfortunately, doesn't unstun Gintoki. Can't be dispelled. Does get him a little bit of healing, like maybe just enough healing that Rosen Seal's not going to straight up kill him here, but then the question is, can Gintoki carry the rest of this match? Forbidden Defender proc. Oh, not enough. That Gintoki is down. So we have a hurt, lost... Yeah, okay. Up Appa knew. He wasn't going to make us watch the rest of that. So for Game 2, we're going to be on the Cape of Sorrow, which is a nice watery map. We may see McLean's make a comeback from the side box, and Up Appa is going to be player 1 this time. Yeah, Pete, I mean, that Gintoki was pretty beat to crap already, so even with Defender and Forest... Okay, so yep, there are the McLeans coming up. Kew bringing up his own Joa and Connie. He knows the hype. He knows there was a hype train. Up Appa, though, bringing in some more offensive units, Azusa and Watham for player 1 situation. Excuse me. Just reading some comments on main chord here now as well. People not liking how that first game played out. Yes, LNR. The last step for SP Leon is Valkyrie tomorrow. So these guys definitely have SP Leon, but they just don't have his skills or his werewolves yet. Alright, we're going to have a Z2 versus Z2 battle. with AO eating early bans. We did get to see AO in action a few times yesterday, but so far no AOs today. The game has changed a little bit. I mean, we obviously have a little bit of intel on Up Appa to know that he has the EOL on Awakened One. To be honest, Eternal Youth, I kind of forget who else was in the Strategy Squad in early seasons. Like, I think Roylee was in Strategy Squad. Like, back in the early seasons, so, I mean, if that's the case, Roylee obviously won Apex a couple times. Yeah, Gafgarion, I mean, one thing about any player at this high level is they tailor their box, even like little tweaks, to suit research on their opponent. So if Kew thought that Liana would have worked great yesterday and maybe doesn't work as great today, or if he didn't like Liana's performance yesterday and tweaked the box a little bit today, it's not unusual to see. So interestingly, Up Appa is not going to go for a full-out DPS strategy this time. He's early picking Lightbringer, so he will have a tank. But Kew has banned out his last remaining healer. So, even though he'll have a tank, the only sustain he'll be getting is unit self-sustain and her self-sustain. Interesting to see full tank bans from Up Appa, Hilda, and Lightbringer, knowing that, like, Landius is Q's preferred tank choice anyway. Thank you for the sub, Over Games, nice and timely. Not banning Rosen or a tank second was a mistake for Up Appa from Absol. Yeah, I mean, I guess Up Appa didn't get enough playtime in Game 1 to really judge whether Rosenseal was the big problem for him or not, but I certainly wouldn't want to be playing against the kind of teams that Q likes to field and just allowing Rosen second pick. Landius is a good tank just because he has a couple lives and he can guard a hit. He has an aura that reduces incoming range damage, and he has a faction buff for some of these units. So the one thing that you want your non-Lightbringer tank to bring is being able to buff other units in your box. That's one of the reasons why people kind of flip between Landius and Christienne, depending on what their box looks like. People with a lot of princesses in their box tend to like to bring Christienne. Like Freed is one of those, for example. And like Landius buffs a lot of Yellis units, so people who have a lot of Yellis units, which is a lot of boxes, do like to have Landius. Magistrate Hilda is good. I'd say Hilda, Lightbringer, and then either Landius or Chris tend to be the three tanks that people play for the next couple seasons. And for Hilda, it's more because of her other utility, like her non-acting again, like tiles that she puts down, and also her anti-displacement. Both beneficial supportive effects. Brogio, welcome to the stream, thank you. I'm, fortunately for my mental health, not playing in this, but happy to just be casting it and streaming it. Okay, so while they're setting up their formation and their soldiers and skills, let's take another look here. So we do have an Elwyn, which is interesting, and an Elaine. So other than the Lightbringer, who's I guess kind of like a pivot for Up Appa to hopefully be able to move up a little more safely, it's just strong DPS here. And on Keu's side, we have a similar setup to what we've seen from like the last 4 Keeu games in a row, which is a Landius and Rosenseal core, and then 3 DPS. So with the really strong Zerida as a DPS option, Archon is a very nice option for DPS, especially on this map. He has a lot of water to work with, and he has a lot of units who aren't immune to displacement. So Up Appa is going to have to watch out for this Archon pulling someone out of position and killing it. Even if it's just the Golem, for example. And then Keu bringing his own Joa and Connie. So we've seen Keu face auto-runs Joa and Connie and lose. We've also seen in the last game Keu faced Up Appa's Joa and Connie and win. So Keu figured it's about time, why not show off his own Joa and Connie? Okay, single target Lucretia. Just a normal faction buffing Elwyn. We got Guardian Infantry on the tank here. I don't expect to see anything too unexpected on Keu's side. Quinn, what makes Joa and Connie so great? That is a question I ask myself. I don't have them built, so like I don't use them. I don't get to really take advantage of how good they are. But one thing that's good about them is just their range. Like Joa can move up pretty far into position and then make himself immune and untargetable, so he becomes like a nice long distance pivot for Connie to bounce spells off of. And for, like, Zerida or whoever to be able to teleport to as well. So being able to push range advantage, being able to push, like, threat range and help control more territory that your opponent can't move into. There are a lot of characters that do that, but Joa and Connie are, like, one of the new trendy ones, so people like to use them. Yeah, Up Appa's gonna need, I mean, the same problem that opponents have been having against Keu. Gotta get through this Lando before they can really do anything. And there's no assassination potential on Up Appa's side whatsoever. No one here ignores guard. So they're gonna have to go through the guard somehow. At least it's double cav, so like Elwyn can hurt it, Lucretia can always hurt it, Zerida can hurt. Although we saw at the very start of last game, Up Appa's Zerida failed a kill on Landius' first life. And yeah, Elaine as an infantry unit is going to have a hard time if she's like the #1 Lando buster. She'll need help, or she'll need to be the one who's chipping in to help. Yep, this game seems like Keu has an advantage. Someone in the chat might remember, I forget what Up Appa was using. I would not be surprised to see them both on Stinger, to be honest. So that's Keu's. 1550. 410 skill, Stinger build. Oh. What about 415 skill? I would expect them both to be Stinger anyway. We did see one player, not yesterday, but last week, I believe, who was using Balance Blade AoE Zerida. Yeah, I was using Balance Blade AoE Zerida for half the regular season as well. Yeah, that's the question, right? Is letting your opponent get Rosen and a tank every game. It seems kind of oppressive. Like, that's fine, let them get Rosen and a tank if you know you're going to just be able to kill the tank and it doesn't matter. But that's been a struggle so far. Stinger better than the hammer for PvP. Stinger is for tank busting builds, so if you want your Zerida to be able to one-shot tanks or attempt to one-shot tanks, you want Stinger and Meteor. That's like her highest one-shot tank busting potential. But Zerida can do different things, so the way you build her is really based on like what you want to do with her. I gotta say, I'm pretty happy to see a good turnout for people coming to watch Apex Arena. Even in Season 13, we're 13 seasons deep by now, and we've got like 120 people watching the finals. Or at least even just watching this stream. I'm sure there are people watching like on their own phones and laptops as well. So kudos to you all for coming out and catching the best of the best in PvP action. Yeah, Elwyn needs some lucky dispels. I would like, personally, just to keep things interesting and mixed up, I would like to see Elwyn take a life off this Keeu Landius, and then see where things go from there. Like, what's Up Appa gonna do then? Bring Zerida in? What's Keeu gonna do? With Landius in danger? Alright, here it comes. Our time has come. Sword Soul. Defender proc. Oh, 800 hit points! The Defender proc saves Landius' first life! He did dispel his defense and his attack, which would impact his survivability, but now Elwyn's first life is just blasted down by Joe and Connie. Yeah, you're right, Absol. Even with the Defender proc, if he was just on grass with those unicorns, that would have been an easy kill. That would have made all the difference. Okay, so this is basically what Elaine is for. She comes in, Gets the first kill with her little snap proc, and even then, barely able to finish off the second life. Barely able to take 20% off Landius there to kill him. Okay, but Landius is down, but it costs a whole Elwyn and a whole Elaine. All we have left on Appa's side now is a little mage, a tank, and a Z2. Pete asking why he's yeeting. Well, believe the yeet. Yeah, Lucretia's just a little mage right now. When she's so lonesome. I mean, I guess she does have the benefit of a tank here. Z2 can still jump. Like, she can still teleport to this. Like, she can use that as a target for her teleport, and it'll just put her beside it somewhere. Look what Awakened already did to our minds. That's right, we're living in the Awakened era now. At least we're still living in an era where Awakened is frequently banned. So we'll get to see a lot of little Lucretias. But Appa still has to worry about this Archon. Archon can basically come in and pull and kill someone at will. Oh, does the invisibility on Joa make it so that Zerda can't target the Zeraball underneath him because he's like he makes the whole tile untargetable? That's a very interesting interaction. For very, very niche uses. Okay, so Lucretia going for the one-shot on this Connie. Unfortunately, doesn't create another Zeraball back here because that is already fogged. This is going to be an easy kill on this Lucretia because she's being pulled away from the Golem. Alright. I mean, at least Zerda can jump to this Lightbringer now. But yeah, Zerda's not going to be able to, like... Yeah, not going to be able to do anything. Appa just throws in the towel. And, with that, Keeu, a relatively quick 2-0 victory to take the Season 13 championship. So, congrats to Keeu. Congrats on being the champion, and getting a skin next season named after you and everything, taking the title off 7th Heaven up Appa's head, and placing it on his own little furry Gintoki head. I gotta say, it must feel really satisfying not just to win the Apex Championship, but to win it off the previous season's champ. Like, it would be different if, like, Ichiao had beat Appa yesterday, and then Keeu beat her to win the championship, but taking the championship from last season's champ must feel like extra special. So congrats to Keeu. Congrats also to Appa for having another great season, winning the championship last season, then coming this far, getting all the way to the finals again this season. It's the beginning of another like nice, long, and storied Apex career, so it's good to see both of these players do so well here. The chat, congrats to Keu's pilot, congrats to Keu's PayPal transaction. I mean, you guys can celebrate in your own ways. I'm not going to fan any flames or conspiracy theories here on my official channel. But thanks for everyone coming out and watching my stream as well. And thanks to Rice Crew for the ridiculous hype train of gifted subs. Before I go, I will at least extend this opportunity for anyone else who wants to dump a sub my way or dump a tip or donation my way. The Apex Arena season may be over, but I'm planning on continuing to stream other stuff, including some other non-Lang console games. So we'll figure out, once I get my new overlay set up, because this is like a little Langrisser screen-sized overlay, I'm going to get another one set up for my other games. And then we'll kind of decide together what I'm going to play, what might be the most fun thing to put on stream here. And other than that, I mean, I guess Apex Season 14 is starting probably next week, so there's still going to be more PvP to watch together. So thanks for tuning in now, thanks for tuning in the future, and I will catch you in the next one. Happy Langrissing, everyone.